keep forgetting to do that kind of stuff. Thanks for it's the details, but it's definitely like awesome to be able to have.
We're going live, Bubba.
Oh, we've got 4 minutes. Ha ha ha.
That gives us time to build our audience.
Yes. Okay. Great. Let's go early. Yes.
Come on, here we go.
Come on, Miley. Oh, I swear, at this moment, you mean everything. Come on, Eileen. Oh, I know. At this moment.
I forgot to tag Max.
They're all on the, they're all doing the being uncomfortable.
Tag them.
Yeah, you can tag them. Absolutely. They're just not going to be able to show up.
Yeah, it's okay.
Sadly. It's okay. Yeah. Although I think I'm a leader of the pack now, and I think I was supposed to help work it. Except I can't because I'm on with you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, where am I?
They'll live without me for one day.
Okay, I did everything that I thought I was supposed to do.
Or are you in their producer window?
That's so interesting.
Oh yeah, you did see my video.
Hey, there we are. What am I supposed to do? All right, I think we're good to go.
Or are you in their producer window?
No, I think we're good to go, my friend. So interesting.
Why am I hearing audio?
There we go.
On your end? Okay. Excellent.
I know, we're in. So I'm going to be on Zoom with you, and then I do stuff with my phone. So we're inviting people in.
Got it.
Let us know we're on loud and clear.
You might want to mute it because there's 10-second delay between the audio. Yes, there you go. Between your audio and our audio.
That's me.
Am I hearing audio?
Where we go? And Yvette says we're on loud and clear. So I'm going to be on Zoom with you, and then I do stuff with my phone. So we're inviting.
Are you hearing that?
I am.
Okay. I'm not going crazy. Thank you. I'm not going crazy.
This is why we work hard and do all this technology before 8 o'clock. And I can even hit little hearts for myself. I know, it's so crazy. Technology. It's fun. So just, we want to invite people in, and then you can pull it up too and invite people. Right?
I can.
You can hit share and
well, yes. In fact, I will do that right now. Let me bring Chrome.
Super fun. Joetta's on with us, and Bernadette's on with us.
Woo! Excellent.
Superhero you. Yeah.
Excellent. Let me go to your page. Jim Edwards.
Yay. I know. Isn't this fun? Hey, y'all.
Hey, look. We're live.
On with the most spectacular Dr. Scott McComas, and he is just a delight human being. And Scott, I'm going to have you just do a little brief introduction of yourself, and then we're going to talk about superheroes.
Okay.
Everybody loves a superhero.
I love superheroes.
People that like villains too. So I'm just going to have you introduce yourself so people can circle in and join in and participate with us. And I'll probably have people, share little emojis, who's their super favorite, their favorite superhero while we're going throughout the conversation tonight. So Dr. Scott McComas, you're on.
Hang on. Oh, geez. We just had a...
We got Lucy, yay, superheroes. Right. And it's
sorry about that. We just had a technical glitch there real quick. I am Dr. Scott McComas.
Yes, you are.
I am a performance coach and a superhero trainer. I help people step into their inner superhero, which, in the way I define it, is the best version of you. We all have skills and abilities and powers that we can use to not only help ourselves, but to help other people, which is all about what a superhero is. Superhero is all about empowering other people. I stand for empowering other people to be free to be who they truly are and to live with purpose and success and fun, because superheroes are fun too. So I have a background in clinical psychology. That's where my doctorate is. And then I have a master's in sport psychology, which is performance psychology, using psychology to help you take your performances in business and life, wherever, to the next level. So, and so I'm also a sports fan, which that you might have guessed that, given that I went and got an entire degree in it, in sports psychology. And now I am out to help to create a movement. I am out to create a movement of superheroes, because what would the world look like if everybody were trying to be their best self? Not even being their best self, but even just trying to be their best self.
Yeah.
What would the world look like?
Yeah, really.
That's
really cool, Scott. You know, and it's so great because I remember when we first met, you know, you had this idea. I have an idea, you know, and you've really honed it and crafted it. And now you have your own superhero camp program. What's it called?
Yeah. Oh, there's two. There's an adult version and a kids version. We're just coming out with a kids version now. The adult version, which is what I've been doing for the past year, has been called Superhero U, Unlock the Superhero Within. And so it's been a 2.5 hour. Depends on, like, when it was live, it was 4 hours. Now that it's virtual, it's 2.5 hours. So it's a 2.5 hour event, where you get to create your superhero identity, because it's not just about your own powers,
right?
Your own abilities. You get to actually choose your powers. You get to choose what you stand for, what you want to stand for as that best version of you in this world. So, which is yet another reason why I love this all, because you have control over what you want to look like, how you want to stand for other people, how you want to empower other people, and what skills you learn to be able to do so.
Yeah. So you said, you know, so superhero you. So I get to choose my own superpower, right? Because most superheroes, they were kind of born with it, except for Batman. But most superheroes, and I think about X-Men, and I think about, you know, the Avengers, you know, they didn't necessarily get to choose their superpower.
No,
it was kind of bestowed upon them.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
We all have strengths, right? We're born with certain levels of, like, I call them buckets, right? We have an athletic bucket, and we have a certain amount of talent and skill that we're born with because of our genetic predispositions.
Right.
But there's skill, any ability that you have can be broken down into a set of skills. Like there's a great book by of course I'm blanking on it right now, of course.
That's
right?
Okay, you'll think of it, and you can come back, because there might be people in here, because we've got you know, Yolanda and Rick and Holly are all watching with us, and Anna and Jackie and Hasim and Joetta and Melissa, and, you know, there's a bunch of people on with us. So, you know, and Floor's just now watching.
Hello.
So they might,
welcome.
You know, because we really kind of, in Renata, so we really kind of want to create this context of, I get to choose my superpowers, right?
Yeah.
Like in your course, I get to choose my superpower. So everybody drop an emoji, you know, drop a heart, drop a like, drop a whatever. It's like, yeah, how awesome would that be if I got to choose my own superhero power, right? So what are some of the ones that that have come out of your programs? What are some of the superhero powers that people have created for themselves that they've discovered newly? They didn't really even think that, because in my opinion, listening is a superpower.
Is a superpower. Vulnerability is a superpower. Kindness is a superpower. I have an entire list of, so there's strength is a superpower. Charisma is a superpower. Intelligence is a superpower. All of these things are superpowers that allow you to be effective in this world. And some of them we develop to survive, right? It's what we need to do to survive.
Right.
But some of them but we also get to choose them, because you get to choose the skills that you want to master. And if
Mm.
you, and over time, if you clearly focus on mastery, if you just focus on mastery, if you just focus on getting better, and are able to put aside things like failure and ego, looking good, if you just focus solely on mastering your skills and becoming better and better, it's not a question of you finding success. It's a question of when success finds you.
Very good. So I want you to repeat that because that's so powerful. And there was one of the people watching had said, patience was a superpower.
Oh, yes,
You know,
absolutely.
especially right now.
Yes.
People
Oh,
are on
absolutely.
edge. You know, people are on edge. It's uncomfortable. We're having conversations that, are can go one way or the other pretty quickly.
We're in,
And so to bring patience to that conversation would be a great superpower.
we're in the middle of four major crises. Four. We've got the health crisis, we've
Yep.
got the economic crisis, we've got the
Yep.
social justice crisis, and we have a mental health crisis, but no one's
Yes,
talking
we
about
do.
the mental health crisis.
Yes, we do.
Um, and it's an opportunity. I want to see it as an opportunity for people to be able to step into that best version of themselves. And it's an opportunity to really be able to grow and develop. But it's uncomfortable. It's very hard because everyone is thrown out of their normal, right?
Totally.
I have been riding an emotional roller coaster myself. I don't know about
Mhm.
anybody else,
Oh yeah.
but I've been riding an emotional roller
Yeah,
coaster.
and you know what? Everybody, if you've been doing this, that's been your experience. Just drop a thumbs up or just we're right there with you. You're not alone. I just want you to know that you are not alone. So go ahead and drop a thumbs up in the thread if that's what you've been dealing with. So you're not alone. We got you. We
Yeah.
got you.
And we do it together, right?
Mhm.
That's one of the things that when I do the workshop, I talk about what superheroes are and what superheroes aren't. And one of the things that superheroes do is they do it in community. They work together. Isolation is a huge problem right now. I don't know. And I've struggled with that myself. I hate working from home, and I've had to do
Well,
that.
we all have, aren't we?
Yeah.
Everybody's isolated. I think about the families that don't have any family. If you're living by yourself
Yeah.
and there's no housemate, at least thank God I have a housemate, right? Because I can't even fathom being in this environment right now by yourself or
Or
elderly.
right, exactly. I mean, abuse has gone way up. We've got
Mhm.
suicides have gone up due to the enforcement of kind of how we've been living for these past several months. And so families are packed together like new relations. You've had to relate to people in completely different ways because of the amount of time you're now spending with those people who are in your house.
Yes. Well, yeah, and I have friends that are attorneys, right? And
Yeah.
I've got a couple of them that are our mission ambassadors, and they were saying, I'm like, how's business? And he's like, oh my God, we're so busy. And I'm like, really, what are you busy about? He's like, well, there's a lot of people getting divorced. I'm like, oh my God,
Yeah.
is like, this is really raising our stress bar. So to be able to kind of check in and tap into our superhero power, because Superman always had his kryptonite, right?
Yes.
He had
We
his
all and
kryptonite.
we all
That
have our
was
kryptonite.
We all have our kryptonite, and how great to discover what our kryptonite is. So when we see it, feel it coming in, so some of the, so we've had a couple people say that they've got, Lucy said her superpower is empathy. Renata, brought up patience, charisma. What would be the front side of the hand, back side of the hand? What would be the kryptonite of empathy or patience or charisma or kindness?
Right. Well, and then there's also, which this can be a kryptonite, like
Right.
all of your superpowers can actually be your kryptonite as well. Because
Wow.
if you
Okay.
take your superpowers and you take them to the extreme, I'll use the Hulk for instance. One
Mm,
of the Hulk's superpowers is strength.
right.
But he also has this minor rage problem that when he goes full on Hulk, you lose 6 blocks,
Right.
which yeah, strength is a great superpower. And what's the shadow side of it? It's
Hmm.
leveling 6 blocks, which
Right.
there's so being able to understand your superpowers when taken too far can also be one of your kryptonite.
Yeah, well, and it's the unintended consequences. I talk about that a lot with, everything that's going on is what's the unintended consequence of doing X?
Mm, yeah, exactly.
You know,
What have you
and
not thought of?
that's one that, you can think so many chess moves out, and you're likely is you're going to miss a couple of chess moves,
Yeah,
so that's the knowing what my kryptonite is and knowing what my superpower is, and then being able to check in with community really makes a difference.
huge. Yeah, no, it's absolutely huge. You can have, and I like to frame this as intent versus impact. So you
Mm,
can have the best intentions, and you can use your superpowers in a certain way, and the impact may not be what you expect it to be or want it to be.
right, right,
And if it doesn't occur that way, if the impact is unproductive, for instance, or negative, I try not to use words like negative,
right,
because
right.
I like more like unproductive. But if it's unproductive, you have a mess to clean up. You have to clean something up around it.
Absolutely. Well, and it's because my audience is we're out to empowering kids. That's what Paving the Way does. Is we educate youth about human trafficking, and really more importantly what to look for online and grooming and recruitment tactics, more importantly what actions to take to either prevent it or to report it. And so I've got a lot of parents that come to my page and look for information. They look for stuff. So what's a way that we can share with parents about discovering their superhero powers, or what's a conversation they can have with their kids about, hey, I heard this really cool, Facebook Live tonight about superheroes and superhero you. What do you think your superpowers are? And what would you do if you had them?
Well, I think you just answered the question
Okay,
right
yeah, I guess I did, didn't I?
there. Great
Well, what else
answer.
can we do, Scott? Come on, there's more than one idea.
Great answer, Jen.
Thanks.
That's absolutely one thing you can do. Another thing is you can ask them, what does being a superhero mean to them?
Mm,
How does that what does that look like to them on being a superhero? And then they can bring in this concept of being a superhero as being that very best version of you. Um, and what does that look like? What do you want your best version of you to look like? Um,
really great.
and there's a way I would frame that conversation in terms of values. Um, every superhero has a set of values. They have a code by which their
Live by.
superhero
Yeah.
their superhero-ness expresses themselves. Superman, truth and justice. Um, but you can frame a conversation in terms of values. What do you want to stand for?
Yeah.
Because then if you say, like, I want to stand, so for instance, I stand for hope, inspiration, and leadership in the world. Those are the
Mm,
3 values that I stand for, that I want to bring to the world. Okay. So if I stand for hope, leadership, or hope, inspiration, and leadership, I think I said that right, just out of order. If I
all
stand
good.
for
We all knew what you meant.
if I stand for hope, inspiration, and leadership, then what actions can I take? Small actions. You don't even look at the big picture, but
Right.
small actions that
Right.
represent hope, or represent inspiration, or represent leadership in the world. So I want to represent inspiration today. Okay, so I am going out, and today I am going to find a great quote, and I'm going to put together in Canva, I'm going to put together a cool little graphic, and I'm going to post that in Facebook today. And that is how I'm going to represent inspiration.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really great. A couple more people have hopped on. Carolyn has hopped on. Heather Fitzenhagen's hopped on, and both of them, a couple people popped on and said, we said, what does being a superhero mean to you? And Renata said, empowering someone, and Flower said, being better, and it's like, being better and empowering someone's kind of broad. It's
Mhm.
very, like, it's powerful and it's very broad. It's like, okay, then let's bring it down, right? And what action can you take? What's a tiny action you can take right now to empower someone? And
Oh,
that's really what I'm going to invite y'all to do is, whether you, put it right here on in the thread, or you share this video and go, hey, here's an action I'm taking to bring my superhero out into the world to make the kind of difference that we're here to make. Because something you said at the very beginning, Scott, was, what if we all took on trying to be a superhero? If we all took that on, the world would look completely different.
it would. That's a world I want to live in.
Yeah. Yeah. So, that's kind of the conversation we want our parents to have with our youth. And quite frankly, with themselves,
Yes. Yes.
with themselves. What kind of legacy do I want to leave?
Yes. And it starts with the one small step of saying, I declare or I commit to being my best self. Are you
Yeah.
going to be your best self all the time? No.
No.
That's okay. But committing to the process of trying and making mistakes and fixing those mistakes and trying again and trying
Yeah.
again and trying again, because you will get better.
Absolutely. Yeah, Les Brown, one of my favorite sayings that Les Brown says is, because if you're going to fall down, make sure you fall down face up, because if you can look up, you can get up.
I always like,
And that's the beauty of it, right? And as parents, I know you're not one yet, but I think you're an uncle. Are you an uncle?
I'm an
I don't
uncle.
know.
I'm definitely, yes, I'm an uncle.
Yeah, I thought you were an uncle. Is part of our role, part of what we can do out in the world is, um, you know, sharing our vulnerability, sharing that we're not perfect. The Avengers is one of my favorite, that whole series is one of my favorite series, because they screw up, they all get together again in the community and they try again.
That's it.
They can try again.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of it, bringing compassion and love. And, you know, there's, it's really easy to make people wrong.
Yes.
It's really easy to be justified and self-righteous.
Yes.
What takes something is compassion and patience.
Yes.
It really does. It takes self-restraint to take a deep breath in. One of the things I always share is NBA referees are trained to hold their breath 3 seconds before they blow the whistle, to make sure their eyes catch up with their brain and they saw what they saw.
Right.
I think that's a really great practice for us as superheroes now. We're all superheroes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a really great,
Pause.
is a great practice to take on, is to take a deep breath and pause
Deliberate pause.
before we take that action. One of our viewers has said, take an action, I can call people's, what out. And absolutely you can do that with compassion.
Yes. Yes.
Because people love straight talk. They love it when you're like, because for example, earlier today I had an appointment. I block a time with some people that I'm working with.
Mm-hmm.
And, I communicated I was going to be about 10 minutes late, and they're like, oh, well, I have a call. And I'm like, okay, I got to nip this in the bud, and I just had very straightforward, loving conversations. Like, you know what, I set this time aside. We
Right.
got to honor that. Right.
Right.
Life's
Right.
going to happen. Stuff will happen. It's okay. It's not a problem.
Right.
And that was straight talk with love and compassion.
Right. Right.
And I think that's every superhero brings that, don't they?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Because if you're able, and that's one of the things, like, that's vulnerability. It's a way of showing vulnerability, is showing that compassion. Because if you're able to do that, if you're able to have a person be able, if they feel heard and understood, and this is a superpower, but there's another superpower, And you talked about a little bit about empowering. You know, we talked about empowering people a little bit, like listening, so that the other person is heard and understood.
Yeah.
That's a superpower. And if someone is heard, if someone feels like they're heard and understood, they feel empowered, but also they are much more receptive to what you have to say.
Yeah. Yeah, they really are. And, one of the things that, that we teach in our training is really paying attention here, trusting our gut. If we don't, if we feel something's off, it probably is. And so we tell people to call the trafficking hotline, or if you're in school or environment, go find a trusted adult. And one of the things we share with them is like, look, you can be a hero.
Yep.
You can actually save a life. And the title of our talk is Heroes Helping Heroes. And that's part of it, is we all have our own inner hero.
Yes.
And we can help other people. We can help other heroes find that hero in themselves.
Because we don't do it alone. None of us do it alone.
We don't. And it's a great conversation, I think, for parents to have.
Yeah.
I love that one question. What does being a superhero look like for you? Who do you think, who's a hero in your life?
Right.
Or
who's your favorite superhero? Yeah.
Yeah, your favorite superhero. And then, follow-up question would be what?
Why?
Yeah.
What are the attributes? Why do you like that superhero? Because that can actually help you pick out values. If the child is struggling to come up with values, maybe, and you're wanting to have this conversation and the child is struggling to come up with those values, that can be a way of really narrowing and focusing, like, why is that cool? Why do you like super speed? Why do you like the Flash? Well, I love the Flash because it's super speed. Well, why super speed? Because I like going fast, and I like so you like being in action. It's like, yeah, I like being in action. Boom, you have a value right there that they can stand for, being in action.
Yeah, and it's something you can always bring them back to, right?
Yes, absolutely. It's your value. The values are your anchors. Absolutely, they are. They're the North Star. They're the guide.
Really great tool for parents is to help your kids find their values, find their anchor, and you can always bring them back to it and then have them match stuff up. Does that match your value? Is what you were about to say, is what you're about to do actually match that value? And bring it back to what they said. Right. Really, really great, Scott. Really great. Now, you and I started this conversation a while ago because your organization does something really special for ours.
Why?
Which is how we came up with this topic. So I want you to share just a little bit about, Superhero You and what you do to make an impact in the community.
So one of I love you, Jan. You are amazing. And, the Paving the Way is an amazing organization. It really is. This is what superheroes do. You are the example of what a superhero in real life is. And so I want to take my organization, the Hero U2 aspect of the organization. We donate 10% of our proceeds, and it's gross. It's not even net, it's gross. We take 10% of our gross proceeds and we give it to Paving the Way. So anytime if you buy a ticket for a workshop, if you do coaching or speaking or training with me, and 10% of that always goes to Paving the Way. And I'm very honored to be able to participate and to contribute to your superhero-ness. And the way you do it, because it's amazing, and it's very aligned with what I do, because you're creating heroes out of the kids that you educate, that you train. And so, you're doing that job. You're doing it in a different way that I'm doing, but you're creating superheroes. And that is something I can always get behind. So that's what we
so that's how we came up with this. Is we were talking about superheroes helping superheroes. It's like we need to do a Facebook Live and talk about this, right? And give some really great content and information along the way. Now, I know you've got a couple of things coming up, right?
Yes.
And there's stuff for grown-ups and there's stuff for little people. So,
Yes.
let's talk about what, is happening coming up for little people. And Scott's going to drop the link once we're done, so you guys
Yeah.
can, find more information about his programs coming up. And the reason why I wanted to have this conversation is I think it's imperative that our youth are empowered to know who they are matters.
Oh,
It's so important. And this is one piece of training that can make that kind of impact for our kids.
absolutely.
They are our future, and they need us to love on them, to tell them they're extraordinary, to tap them back left or right of center. I tell people I am the bowling, I'm the bumpers in the bowling game of life for you.
Yeah.
And we just went bowling on Saturday. We probably should have had the bumpers up for a couple of my bowling balls.
I definitely needed them.
But that's the whole point. As grown-ups, that's who we are for our kids.
Oh, I like that analogy.
Is we are the bumpers in the bowling game of life. It's our job to kind of keep them on that path, their path, not my path, not somebody else, their path. And the training that you provide for Superhero You for grown-ups is extraordinary. And I can hardly wait to see what happens for the Superhero You for little people. So tell us a little bit about the one that's coming up now, and then you're going to drop some information in the thread when we're done. Yes?
Yes, I will definitely drop information in the thread when we're done. So the kids version, I'm partnering with Afreen Khan of Red Elephant. She's the CEO of Red Elephant, and we're partnering to do what's called the Flight Club Superhero Training Camp. And it's a 3-hour half-day Zoom experience where we focus on 5 pillars. Of course, I'm not going to be able to rattle them off the top of my head, of course,
One.
right now. So critical thinking, responsibility, communication. Those are 3 of the pillars that we're going to be focusing on to help kids be able to connect with and develop, because this is the age neurocognitively. This is the age where or we're looking at the ages of 10 to 12. This camp is looking at. But neurocognitively, this is the age, middle school is the age where the prefrontal cortex is starting to get into gear, starting to kick into gear. So executive functions such as planning and organization and critical thinking are all starting to come online. And the earlier you can help develop and start to master those skills, like the better the outcome later on, like the more successful, or the better the chances of.
I'm a huge fan of critical thinking, huge fan of thinking. That's part of what we, it's when we ask kids after the film, what would you do? And I'm like, don't give me the first thing. Think about it. I'm like, I can see it coming. So
Yeah.
when's this fabulous program? And
that program, it's tentatively going to be July 23rd from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And this is basically going to be a pilot. So I will put the link in that will allow you to fill out some information so that we can give you more information. And then the second event is the Superhero You. The adult version is going to be in August, mid-August, and I'll be announcing that in the next few days. Great.
Really, really great. Scott, thank you so much for playing with me and coming on and having this conversation about superheroes and that we all have a superpower. And, it's really, responsible of us to discover what that is.
Yeah, it absolutely.
And use it for good. Use it for good. Because I remember Spider-Man 3 when that evil thing took over his body and he had no say, right? Yeah. And he could feel it. And I use that analogy a lot. It's, we actually have a say. There's that little thing back there called the amygdala that's designed to make sure that we survive. And once we know what some of our triggers are, we can stop the action and do something new. Because that's Absolutely. What superheroes do, right?
Yes, that is what superheroes do. Yeah, the amygdala is a tricky little thing in the brain. It
is. All right, so give me your superhero stance.
Right.
And yeah, there we go.
Raised eyebrow. We're recording this. Okay, great.
We are. We are. Thank you so much, Scott, for being
Thank you,
on with
Jan.
me tonight. I so appreciate and love you,
Mm,
and I'm grateful for our partnership to make a difference out in the world together.
Thank you, Jan, and thank you for doing what you do and for being who you are and for standing for kids and for eliminating child trafficking. Just, it's amazing.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
you're welcome. Yeah, it's my, up above, as up above, down below. So y'all just drop an emoji, send Scott some love, drop some hearts, let him know how much you appreciate his superhero training. Let him know, if you have any questions, you can drop that in the comments as well. He'll come back around and answer any questions you may have. Y'all have a great night. Remember, you're the one. Nobody else is coming. And if you see something, you do something and you call the National Trafficking Hotline. Now more than ever, we need you to be our heroes out in the world. Y'all have a great night.